Good morning. Welcome everyone to this today's webinar organized by
Good morning, sir.
National Institute of Agriculture Extension Management or MANAGE. The very important topics: impact of climate change on poultry health and production. Thank you, MANAGE, for inviting me to this webinar. About me, I am Dr. Bishi Datto, a poultry veterinarian working around 40 years in the subcontinent and part of Africa as a poultry consultant. Uh, my topics is I have selected the topics of climate change induced heat stress effect in poultry. My earlier speaker, Dr. Deshpande, has given brief about the poultry, Indian poultry, and the climate change. I am not basically a scientist or an academician, but I am a poultry production person for so many years. So I share my experience of poultry and climate changes during last 40 years, what I have seen. Let's go to the next slide. Climate change challenge and protein food production. Basically, as a poultry veterinarian we are involved in protein food production, like milk, egg, all type of meat, chicken, mutton, and all pork or all other things. And as we all know, India is a protein deficient country. 86% of urban population is protein deficient. And in the global scenario, during 2011, global population was only 7 billion or 700 crore. That time it was forecasted that global population will touch 9 billion in 2050. But by 2023, as per the data and lot of research, we came to know it already touching 8 billion. So by 2050, it may be 9.5 billion or 10 billion, means 1,000 crore. Now, in order to feed this world growing population, farmers, includes agriculture and animal health, husbandry farmers like poultry farmers, dairy farmers, piggery farmers, aqua farmers, they must produce more food in next 50 years than they have produced together during last 10,000 years. See, what they produce in 10,000 years, they have to produce in next 50 years that much quantity of food. And under what scenario? When arable land is decreasing every day. And hello,
10 மணி அப்புறம் நீங்க முழிச்சிருந்தீங்கன்னா
Retired
and
judge filed a
global
complaint against
warming
Air
is threatening.
Digestion of
Global
March
warming is
95.
threatening
He
and
suffered from
arable
cervical
land is
spondylosis
decreasing.
and sciatica and had upgraded
That's
to
the scenario. What is climate change? Climate is changing means describes the global warming, the ongoing increase in global average temperature and its effect on our climate and all life living on it. If the senior people like me who are around 50 or 50 plus, they can just go back to their childhood and young age on what was our temperature. Suppose this program is being organized by Manage from Hyderabad. I used to travel for professional purpose Hyderabad during last almost 24 years. During 2001, 2, 3, this January early morning Hyderabad temperature used to be 10 degree, 11 degree, or mostly 12 degree. We used to have some winter clothes early morning. But now what is today? Nothing required. In January, no winter garments required because minimum temperature around 5 a.m. was 16 or 17 only. And daytime is hot temperature change. And monsoon last 2 years, almost very less, around 60 to 70% rain. That's the climate change effect and causing global warming. Let's go to the next slide. Climate change as we see, who is the human being? Change in environment temperature, world become hotter year after year. Extended summer with higher temperature every year. Shortened monsoon with less rain, resulting groundwater quality and quantity issue for all. Erratic winter with fluctuating temperature, hotter in some area, and extreme cold with snow in other area. Unseasonal rain, glacier burst flood in hills. It affects drinking water quality and quantity crisis throughout the world for all. Quantitative and qualitative adverse effect on agriculture because most agriculture crops are season dependent. Food become costlier every day. Change in biodiversity. Extinction of some species, emergence of new species, whether it is microorganism or bigger animals, change in genetic character of existing species, change in adaptive capacity of existing species due to change in weather, temperature, and drinking water issues. Go to next slide. Climate change, what our chicks see. The chicks are not vegetarian. They are also living beings. So they are the sufferer of global warming. Elevation of environmental temperature beyond their comfort zone with the need for their health and efficient productivity. Deterioration of drinking water quality, reduced crop yield due to drought or flood, results increased cost of feed raw material leading to compromised quality in feed. Fungal growth in maize and other crops facilitating production of mycotoxins. Emergence of new diseases from new or mutated microorganisms affecting poultry health and productivity. Let's go to the next slide. The same thing if we present in different way. The climate change, the main effect is rising in climate temperature. Effect on poultry health and productivity. Less or erratic rainfall, deterioration of drinking water quality, reduced crop yield, increased cost of raw material, compromised feed quality, fungus growth in feed crop, mycotoxin problem in raw material, emergence of new diseases from new or mutated microorganisms. These are the effect of climate changes on poultry. But the most important is rise in climate temperature, effect on poultry health and productivity. And that's my subject today. So let's go to the subject directly. Chickens are homeotherms and regulate their body temperature across a wide range of external temperature. But continuous high climate temperature overwhelms the thermoregulatory mechanisms, resulting imbalance between amount of metabolic heat produced and their capacity to dissipate body heat in the environment. Our chickens lack of sweat gland, which they would have facilitated latent heat loss by evaporation, and they have very limited unfeathered body surface. Areas for effective loss of sensible heat loss through conduction, convection, and radiation. Their heat loss is very much restricted because of sweat gland, less sweat gland, and limited unfeathered body surface. Sorry, their lack of sweat gland and very limited unfeathered body surfaces. I'm presenting on temperature and relative humidity chart to show what is the comfort zone. Our chickens need comfort zone for effective productivity and for normal health. What is the comfort zone temperature and humidity? It's around 22 to 23 degree temperature with 65% humidity only. See, this is the scenario, the 65% and 22 to 23 degrees centigrade. Suppose the temperature is 22, but if humidity rises in 75 degree, then it is alert. Means it's beyond, it crosses the comfort zone environment. Now, if the temperature is 26 degree and humidity is only 20 degree, still it is alert, is beyond the comfort zone. And temperature 26 degree and humidity is 76% as in monsoon. So it's danger. It's not alert, it's the danger zone. And see, temperature of 32 degree, which is very common around here in this subcontinent, 32 degree with 55% humidity is emergency. Means anything can happen on the poultry. If we think the chart, see the chart and consider our environment, I think around 90% time our chicken are beyond the comfort zone. Only during this November, December, somewhere, that to December is not in North India, maybe October, November, around less than 2 months, birds are in comfort zone because our most of the farms are in open system farm. Regarding easy system, I'll speak definitely in the next slide. Let's understand what is heat stress. A situation when chicken faces difficulty in achieving balance between body heat production and body heat loss. This imbalance of production and loss is heat stress. It may occur at any age and with any kind of poultry, whether it's broiler, layer, or breeder. Heat stress is not only uncomfortable for the chicken, it also damages organ, causes egg deformation, reduces fertility, decreases hatchability, and even causes death. Let's go to the next slide. With increase in climate temperature, the thermal gradient between the body surface and the surrounding environment of the chicken lessens with dissipation of sensible heat decreasing, resulting chicken suffering from environment-induced hyperthermia. This increases respiratory rate, which we say thermal polypnea or panting, to maximize loss of latent heat via evaporation of water from respiratory tract. Relative humidity imposes a ceiling on water evaporation, resulting latent heat dissipation. Thus, elevated temperature associated with high relative humidity limits heat removal from the body and intensify the harmful effects of heat stress in poultry. I want to show a small video, very small video during heat stress, what our chicken used to do. Chickens are heat stressed, they are panting and only drinking water. So drinking excess water, they are only aggravating the situation. That I will discuss in details later. Thank you for your patience. Let's go to the next slide. Let us understand what is physiological changes happening with heat stress in chicken. Rise in climate temperature disturbs normal physiological functions in chicken body and induces cell injury. Heat stress causes physiological changes like oxidative stress, acid-base imbalance, immunosuppression, resulting increased mortality and reduced feed intake, leading to poor body weight and lower egg production. Dehydration is the most harmful panting-related issue, causing immunosuppression and increased water intake. Heat stress impact expression of gene related to growth, production performance, and resistance to disease. Increased water intake results gut health problem by diluting nutrients in the intestinal lumen and poor litter with ammonia problem through watery dropping. Let's go to the next slide. Let us understand the climate change induced heat stress effect specifically in broilers, which are meat type chicken. Increased atmospheric temperature induced heat stress causes restlessness and panting. This is unnecessary loss of energy. Panting means oxidative stress, causes gut health problem. Gut health problem means less digestion. With less digestion means reduced body weight, reduced egg production. Oxidative stress causes less reduced immunocapacity. So if immunocapacity is less, there will be more infections, and when immunocapacity and this gut health problem is there, immunocapacity is lessens, the border protection which the intestinal layer is doing, it will be less and infection will be more and more. Next is reduced feed intake on account of heat related discomfort by the broiler. So reduce weight gain on account of low feed intake and less energy while panting. Heat stress has permanent damaging effect, damages muscles affecting meat quality and lowering breast muscle yield in broiler. The next slide. Heat stress disrupts lipid metabolism by affecting enzyme function in lipid breakdown, causing excess fat deposition. Instead of converting meat during summer time, when the birds are under heat stress, we used to found excess fat in the broiler. Many people are thinking there may be metabolic problem, may not, maybe enzyme deficiency, so many things, but this is because of heat stress induced metabolic effect on broiler chicken. Another point is reduced protein content of muscles, reduction of muscle pH, and water holding capacity, and ultimately affecting the juiciness of chicken meat. During summer heat stress, chicken meat is not much tasty as like in winter. It causes immunosuppression and facilitates entry of all sorts of microorganisms already exist in the poultry environment. It causes respiratory distress because of panting and facilitates occurrence of respiratory infections like E. coli, Mycoplasma, IB, ND, avian influenza, coryza, etc. Let's go to the next slide. Let's understand the heat stress effect on the physiology of layer chicken. Panting causes respiratory alkalosis, acid-base imbalance, leading to permanent physiological damage. Alkalosis reduces blood ionized calcium and ultimately egg cell mineralization, resulting reduced egg production, accompanying pale egg, soft shell egg, thin shell egg, small egg with increased breakage percentage in layer and breeder. Heat stress also affects male fertility and hatchability in breeder hen. In details, if we speak about the changes in layer chicken on the effect of heat stress, is the reduced feed intake, reduced egg production, reduced egg weight, poor cell quality, reduced albumin height in egg, reduced male fertility, and reduced hatchability. Heat stress in layer causes poor growth, cannibalism, respiratory distress leading to respiratory infections like E. coli, CRD, coryza, ND, IB, avian influenza. It also causes immunosuppression, inviting many other secondary infections. These are the examples of thin cell. This is cell-less, soft shell egg, and this is corrugated egg. Let's divide the effect of heat stress in poultry in three segments. Three major segment we are seeing the heat stress effect. One is panting, another is reduced feed intake, another is increased water intake. Let us have a diagrammatic presentation. What is caused? Panting means loss of energy. Loss of energy means loss of body weight gain and reduced egg production. Panting causes respiratory distress. Panting causes immunosuppression. Both this immunosuppression and respiratory distress can invite all these respiratory infections like E. coli, Mycoplasma, IB, NDRRD, Coryza, avian influenza. Reduced feed intake, panting also causes oxidative stress. Oxidative stress further aggravates immunosuppression. Reduced feed intake means reduced intake of microorganisms, micronutrients. So reduced micronutrients further aggravates immunosuppression. Reduced feed intake means low body weight, reduced egg production. Reduced feed intakes means reduced male fertility and reduced hatchability in female. Now, what happened with increased water intake? I'll go into details, but in short, it causes gut health problem. Oxidative stress also causes gut health problem. Gut health problem aggravates immunosuppression further, and gut health problem means there will be poor absorption of nutrients, so there will be low body weight and low body weight gain and reduce egg production in layer. But what we are seeing above all these globally, metabolic diseases are increasing every day. Gout, ascites in broiler and prolapse because of the high metabolic demand of today's highly efficient chicken. Let's go to the next slide. The vicious cycle of heat stress in poultry. After so many years of genetic research, around 70 years, the modern fast-growing and highly efficient broilers and almost daily egg producing layers with high metabolic rate needs highly dense nutrients in feed. To exploit that genetic potential and to sustain the metabolic activity, today's chicken need comfortable climate all through their life. They are less thermotolerant and more susceptible to heat stress now due to extremely high metabolic rates and comparatively poorly developed cardiovascular and respiratory system. Under open house farming system, chickens from most poultry producing areas of this subcontinent are under heat stress for around 9 months in a year, resulting poor health, especially the respiratory system, and poor productivity in both broiler and layer. Poultry farmers are far below to reaching the genetic potential productivity in terms of both meat and egg. Let's go to the next slide. In the vicious cycle, under heat stress, water intake increases by the chicken. Chicken consumes more water, leading to dilution of nutrients inside the intestinal lumen, resulting malabsorption and passage of nutrients into the hindgut. This favors undesirable microorganism growth, loss of microbial equilibrium in the gut, dysbacteriosis, enteritis, watery dropping, overheated condition, resulting further increase in the humidity at the birds level, leading to increased discomfort level and dehydration. This situation, chickens will consume more water and the condition aggravates further in a cyclic manner. Globally, respiratory diseases are on rise in broiler, layer, and breeder, leading to mortality and cost of medication and manpower. Nowadays, the viral diseases are not taking the lead. They are, because of our development in vaccination and biosecurity, they are much under control. But these respiratory diseases are on rise because our poultry are highly efficient, or chicken. Gut health is a major issue in today's poultry, which is directly related to the climate change induced increased environment temperature. Suppose, for example, if we are driving a car around 70 to 80 kilometers per hour, so we, under any situation, we can control, there is less chance of accident. But if we are driving the car 110, 120 kilometers per hour, the risk is more. We are trying to run fast, reaching early, that we are inviting the risk. Like our chicken today, our broilers, we are trying to get 2 kg in 30 days. We are trying to get every day 1 egg from our layer. They are always in 120 kilometer speed, always they're on this. They need best comfortable environment. But with climate change, every year temperature is increasing, their health and production efficiency is under challenge. Poultry productivity in terms of both meat and egg
এইটা
are
কি জন্য
far
আছে
below
সবুজ
genetic
টাকা
potential due to
আচ্ছা
climate
পড়ে
change
আছে
related heat stress. Let's go to the next slide.
শুনতে পাচ্ছি
Now, closed EC house invented to offer much needed comfort to chicken to obtain their genetic potential production. As my earlier speaker also said, we are controlling temperature and humidity for our chicken to get the genetic potential production. With increase in climate temperature and unseasonal rain, climate control closed house system are literally failing, especially with high relative humidity outside or minimum compromise in construction. Evaporative cooling and tunnel ventilation fail to maintain comfort environment inside with rising climate temperature outside, creating many blank spots in the middle of EC house, causing breathing problem leading to panting. I want to show a small video here. Just last week, I was visiting a breeding farm with capacity of 50,000 into 4 batch. 50,000 each batch, in 3 batch in production, 150,000 female plus male in chick growing section. There was a complaint of last several years, around 7 years. Every batch, the chicks first 2 weeks, chicks are facing enteritis. They use so many antibiotics, almost all antibiotic, orally or even injection. They use probiotic. They use all possible weapons they have, but nothing satisfactory. No satisfactory result. This batch, when I was visiting, it was 12 days, second week. There is watery droplets and little feed passage was there. That history, I entered the shed. I sat on different places. The history says they have 2 chick growing house, but the first 2 weeks, as you know, in breeder, first 2 weeks is the ad libitum feed. So they keep all the chicks, 52,000 female and 6,000 male, in one house, and that time they are facing this enteritis problem. When they are transferring 50% to the second growing brooding house, the that problem vanishes. That stuck in my mind. So when every batch during last 7 years they are facing the problem, antibiotic is not responding. So it's not a case of infection. It's something else. What is common? What is common during last 7 years? Chicks? No. Feet? No. Disease, it cannot be in all the batches. The same problem. I entered the shed. I was there in the shed more than 2 hours. I feel little suffocated. The chick house, I checked the temperature, it was 28.5 and humidity was 70 degrees. It's normal for the second week, 12-day-old chicks. But I was a bit sweating and my breath was deeper. Then I checked the chicks, how they are breathing. Can you see the chicks are breathing very deep, almost like panting. And enteritis also you can see below. The chicks, the breathing is a climate control closed shed. 58,000 chicks in house. Check their breathing. Thank you for the patience. Then I requested them. Then I checked the feed and water intake. Water intake, incidentally, it is 20% higher than the normal in climate control closed house. And I asked them to automatic AC system was running. I asked them to manually increase 2-3 fan moving. They switch on 2 fans. The chick lying in front of the fan. Within 5 minutes, they are this deep breathing panting become lesser. They are facing little comfortable. Even me, I was facing little more comfortable. And the history says that when they transfer 50% chicks to the other house, the situation vanishes. This condition, the problem vanishes. Means the oxygen demand 58,000 chicks is more. Then I'll check the house length. House length, they didn't follow the SOP. The house length is little bit more. It was 370 feet. And with 58,000 chicks, oxygen supply inside is not sufficient. So birds are taking deep breath, and this because of the deep breathing, they're sweating, they are under dehydration, they're taking more water. So as they're taking more water, now see, panting causes increased water intake, resulting dilution of nutrients in the intestine, passage of nutrients in the hindgut, growth of undesirable microorganisms in the intestine, loss of microbial equilibrium, dysbacteriosis, enteritis, watery droppings, poor litter condition, if it is open, ammonia buildup, and further deterioration of ventilation in the house. That is what happening in the house. What we are saying, just last week, maybe in less than 7 days, I faced the same situation in poultry house. That's the next slide. This heat stress condition results poor feed intake with poor body weight gain and egg production in one hand, and respiratory distress leading to occurrence of respiratory diseases like E. coli, CRD, IB, ND, Coryza, or avian influenza, etc. on the other hand. These conditions are increasingly very common in environment control poultry house globally because of climate change related rise in ambient temperature. Respiratory disease are on rise in broiler, layer and breeder in closed AC house, leading to mortality and cost of medication and manpower issue. Productivity in terms of meat and egg are below to genetic potential even in AC poultry house. Let's go to the next slide. So far we are discussing about the effect of climate change induced heat stress in poultry. So what to do? We have to produce chicken and meat to supply protein to the nation, and for the farmer, for their livelihood, we need to do poultry. So what are the mitigation strategy? Yes, we can mitigate. The first is efficient poultry production. There should be awareness about the genetic potential of the chicks, what these chicks can do. We must know that, and need of the chicken to reach there. The genetic potential, suppose it is 30 days 2 kg for broiler, and In 100 weeks, 500 eggs per layer. So to reach that potential, what our chicken need, that awareness be must reach to our poultry fraternity. Next point is planning and implementation to extract 100% potential in farming business. That 100% potential we need to extract. So we must plan and implement that plan, providing the need on the time. The need of the chicks, provide them on plan, implement to provide the need on time. Use of technologies, especially the poultry civil and electrical engineering and artificial intelligence is very much required today. And most important is alternative feed raw material source, which are less vulnerable to climate changes. We must select some raw material which are not much vulnerable to climate change induced heat or heat stress. The next point is biosecurity to minimize loss in poultry. As per record, poultry industry globally is losing approximate 20% of productivity due to mortality, on account of mortality and loss of productivity due to disease globally. 20% we are losing. Whatever we should get, we are getting only 80%. If we can minimize that through controlling the disease through scientific biosecurity measures, will minimize loss, so maximize production, which in turn reduce energy consumption by poultry industry, helping the planet to become little less hotter. Let's go to the next slide, the last but the least point, not the least point, a very important issue, by using natural resources. There should be compulsory use of solar power in poultry production. Do not waste the solar power. The sun, what is power is giving today, we cannot expect the same energy which you are losing today. Tomorrow we are not getting that. Tomorrow is another day. And production of biogas or electricity from poultry manure. But benefit we will get if we are using solar power and we are producing biogas or electricity from poultry manure, that will reduce requirement of electricity, leading to reduced coal burning in thermal power plant, resulting reduced heat generation in the environment, helping climate to become less hotter. Reduce production of poultry waste generated heat. This poultry waste we are throwing out, heat generation is there. So we can minimize that heat generation from poultry waste, reducing heating of environment. Reduce production of carbon particulate pollutant from thermal power unit, helping human and poultry fraternity to breathe freely and reducing respiratory disease. Because when you are burning coal in the thermal power unit, we are not only heating the environment, we are producing huge carbon particulate pollutant for all type of humans, human and animals. So inviting respiratory problems. If we minimize our electricity consumption, will reduce the pollution also, and direct financial benefits from selling or using the dried manure. After producing biogas, the dried manure can be used as a this fertilizer, as a fertilizer in agricultural field. Next is rainwater harvest. We are wasting the rainwater every day. To reduce, if we harvest rainwater, we'll reduce the groundwater use for poultry to save it for human society. And if we use less groundwater, so it is reduce the electricity consumption to lift the water from the underground, so indirectly saving the heat generation for climate change. Let's go to the last slide of my presentation. What is the take-home message? Today's discussion on climate change induced heat stress effect in poultry. Climate change induced heat stress causes discomfort environment to chicken. it causes discomfort to chicken. So poultry productivity is lower under climate change because of discomfort, because of poor feed intake, and production costs are increasing. Whatever the genetic potential, we are not getting the genetic potential uh, performance, so production cost is increasing every day. We are unable to exploit the genetic potential. Heat stress causes immunosuppression, and our chickens are becoming increasingly vulnerable to diseases every day. Increasingly vulnerable to disease because of heat stress. Because on account of heat stress is the immunosuppression, and another is heat stress mycotoxin. Both causes immunosuppression and inviting disease. Efficient poultry production, use of natural resources, and biosecurity can mitigate a bit to control climate change induced heat stress affecting poultry. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I have a poultry website in the name of www.drbcdatta.com. I used to share all my experiences, my presentations, my webinar there. You can check it. I have a poultry YouTube channel now with 147 videos, which are all raw videos taken from the farm or presentation, seminar, webinar. There is no editing. It's not no shooting at home or in studio. I would like to request all of you to check my poultry YouTube channel and in the name of poultry troubleshooter under Bidatto_Bidatto. Please like and subscribe the channel. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Manoj, for inviting me.
Thank you, sir.